We go to Indianapolis, Indiana, where Garth is on the line. Garth, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how are you?
I am living the dream. How are you, sir?
Well, I hope to be living the dream. I'm hoping to find some good advice and some encouragement today.
I like the pressure. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I've been working in the industry of food for about 10 years. After college, I had a brief career in athletic training, and after several failed attempts to pass that exam, I just kind of burned out. I moved back home to recoup and replan, and I took a restaurant job and moved up the ladder a couple of years and moved into a management position. And I took that job thinking that was what I wanted to do for a career, as I really do find a passion in food, cooking, eating, talking about it, creating, entertaining. And cut to 10 years now, I just don't feel that same passion, mostly because of the surrounding. It's working with a younger population, a less mature population that doesn't take the same passions and critiques the way I do in the industry, and also the added working late hours and closing, being away from my now fiance.
Yeah.
I really want to take a day job so that we can move, so I can move forward professionally and us move personally in our relationship.
Yeah, you don't want a day job. You just need a different job. I got to tell you, you're assuming,
Okay.
Hold on a second. You are assuming, Garth, that the only people you can work with in the food industry are a bunch of young kids who see this as a temporary job, so therefore they're not passionate about it. And you are assuming that you can only work in the food industry if you're working every night of the week and crazy nights. And then you're assuming that there's no other time that you could spend with your wife to be if you did have to work nights. You're doing a lot of assuming, and I think you know better than that. And I'm afraid that you're going to make a decision that you're going to regret if you walk yourself into, well, you know what, this is about, being at home every night with my fiance and eventual wife, and this is just about, I'm tired of working with people that aren't as passionate about me, so I'm going to make a bunch of changes. As opposed to the guy who just rattled off like 5 things you were passionate about within the food sector. And I immediately took note. I was like, this is a dude who needs to be in high-end, 5-star restaurants, working with chefs, or I just think that you've got to change your scene, and you've got to open yourself up to doing some research and verifying that you can, in fact, set your terms. Now, what do you think about that when I say that? Do you like what I'm saying? Do you disagree with it? Poke some holes in it.
I do. That's the exact kind of thing that I've been hoping for, is just to find something of a different setting that would allow me flexibility in hours and in the kind of work I can do. Rather
Stop
than
hoping and start looking.
Okay.
You're too busy hoping.
Yeah.
Because you're a guy who actually knows this industry well. Are you telling me there's not a 5-star restaurant in Indianapolis that's open during the day? They have a robust breakfast or a robust lunch and dinner time, and then you put a staff together eventually. Maybe you pay your dues, but you put a great staff together, and you go home at 6 or 7 o'clock. Or if you're having to work nights, guess what? You get to be with your wife and eventual kids during the day, and you don't have to show up until 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a few 5-star.
Am I nuts? Am I nuts? Tell me if I'm nuts.
No, you're not nuts.
So what are we doing?
We've got to research some of these 5-star places, like you say,
and do what it takes. Do what it takes to get qualified. Yeah. Use my proximity principle to get around the people that are in those places, and do the work you love, man. Be a foodie. Be a full-on professional foodie, leads people, or whatever it is. I don't know if it's being a chef. What's the ultimate goal? Name it real quick. I want you to say it out loud. Go.
Well, I've thought about having my own restaurant, but
you're not allowed to say.
Really not sure.
No. Stop saying but. What is it? Say it right now. What is the dream? Say it.
It's just to be to see my passion, my food come alive in a community.
Yeah, but the answer is you want to own your own restaurant one day.
Yeah.
So just say that.
Okay, it's to own a restaurant.
Boom! How hard was that to say? Now start believing that that's possible. Now, is it 7 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? I don't know. But why don't you start focusing on that every morning? Gaze up at
Mhm.
that Mount Everest and say, I want to own my own restaurant, and that's going to begin to pull your head and heart together and put you on a focused path to make that possible. Now, get after it, Garth. That's our hashtag for today's show. Get after it, Garth.